Ali, 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 yeah. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for his blessings. Ali was the circle 7.
All right. Islamism without the schism. On the rise and give all praises to the great God Allah, Father God Allah, and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere. And therefore, honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal. We give honors to our Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything that our Holy Prophet brought to make us a nation. I want to welcome you to another Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate session. I'm your host instructor, Dr. Shahid Imani Amo Hadi Shabazz El. My ancient Comedian high name being the same as Dr. Shedawah Menti El Muhajjid Shepsuel. And we have a grand measure to bring forth to you this morning, but we can't come forth without calling forth our scribes to open up the way. So we call to the floor our beloved brother Marvin, Nathaniel Edwards Bey. Islam, peace and love.
Islam and gratitude. Yes, I'm Dr. Marvin Edwards Bey out of Texas Consulate, rising giving all praises to the great God Allah, highest honor to his prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali Al-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, highest honor to our theocratic government, our Moorish American government, our Act 1, all of our officials, and to this class, our Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate class, E.A.R.S class, and an instructor and host, National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish American, everything that's Moorish, and all the Moors online. And I'll begin by opening up according to law. Ya Allah amnuheru meku neteru. Ya Allah abheteru. Ya Allah ma'atheru. Ya Allah hoteperu. Ya Allah heru. Ya Allah ma'ad herakuti. Ya Allah awajet dejuti. Ya Allah patem sutek. Patem heru. Ya Allah bamaduti. El hejisre up to Ali. Amen. Holiest, holiest, holiest. In transliteration, O Allah, the Father of the universe, O Allah, the Father of love, O Allah, the Spirit of truth, O Allah, the Spirit of peace, O Allah, the Spirit of freedom, O Allah, the Spirit of justice. O Allah, you are my protector. O Allah, you are my guide. O Allah, you are my salvation by night and by day. O Allah, through your holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Holiest, 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 holiest. And now I've come forth with our divine constitution of North America. Salvation, our God, unity. The divine constitution of North America. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and the Chairman of North America are empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of North America. The Assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of North America. The bylaws, Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7, and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh, and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of North America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a North American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of North America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865, during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America, and then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wives, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Peace and blessings. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, peace and blessings be upon him, founding father and framer of the divine constitution and bylaws of North America. And now this meeting has been opened according to law. And I will turn the meeting over to our National Grand Secretary of South Carolina, Dr. Dendra Kurtabe. Islam.
Islam, Islam, Islam. Gratitude, God man. Islam, Islam, Islam family. I am Dr. Dendra Ani Akurtabe. But first, let me rise and give praises to our great God Allah. I give honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to Act 1. I give honors to all my government officials. And I give honors to our National Assistant Grand Sheik for this class this morning. And I give honors to our Consul General of Texas, Dr. Marvin Edwards Bay, for opening us up according to law. And at this time, I will be reading our chapter of the week coming from our Holy Quran, chapter 53. And it reads, Holy Instructions from the Prophet, Justice. The peace of society dependeth on justice, the happiness of individuals on the safe enjoyment of all their possessions. Keep the desires of thy heart, therefore, within the bounds of moderation. Let the hand of justice lead them aright. Cast not an evil eye on the goods of thy neighbor. Let whatever is his property be sacred from thy touch. Let no temptation allure thee, nor any provocation excite thee to lift up thy hand to the hazard of his life. Defame him not in his character. Bear no false witness against him. Corrupt not his servant to cheat or forsake him and the wife of his bosom. O tempt not to sin. It will be a grief to his heart, which thou canst not relieve, an injury to his life, which no reparation can atone. In thy dealing with men, be impartial and just, and do unto them as thou wouldest they should do unto thee. Be faithful to thy trust, and deceive not the man who relieth upon thee. Be assured it is less evil in the sight of Allah to steal than to betray. Oppress not the poor, and defraud not of his hire the laboring man. When thou sellest for grain, hear the whispering of conscience, and be satisfied with moderation. Nor from the ignorance of thy buyer take any advantage. Pay the debts which thou owest, for he who gave thee credit relieth upon thy honor, and to withhold from him his due is both mean and unjust. Finally, O son of society, examine thy heart, call remembrance to thy aid, and if in any of these things thou have transgressed, make a speedy reparation to the utmost of thy power. Islam, Islam, Islam. We will now turn everything back over to our host, our National Assistant Grand Chief, Dr. Sadu Amiti El Maheji Sepsuel. Are you there, God man?
Islamism, here, there, and everywhere, goddess and queen.
Islam.
Gratitude. Well, having already risen, we continue to rise in ascension, giving praises to the great God Allah, honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, honors to the ancestors, honors to you, Moorish kin, for coming forth. Those here, there, and everywhere that are honoring themselves by being themselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal, Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything that our holy prophet brought to make us a nation. I want to welcome you again to another Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate session. And again, I'm your host instructor, Dr. Shahid Imani Mohadi Shabazz El. My ancient Comedian high name being the same as Dr. Shedawa Minche El Muhajid Shepsuel, and we most definitely have a grand drawing family for you. And for those who are out there in social media watching, be sure to share, like, share, and subscribe, because every time you hit that like button, that actually causes a boost in the algorithm. So be sure to like the video, so that more people can see the content. But we have a grand drawing to bring on the manifest this morning. Another assignment. And so we would like to call forth our family, our scribes, so that they can bring forth what it is that they have to teach us this morning. So without further ado and delay, we will call forth our first scribe to bring forth our assignment that was basically given early in the week. Islam.
Islam.
Right, Sister Curta Bay.
Islam, 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 family. I'm going to go ahead on and jump on out there and see how How did I do? All right, I'm going to hit the, let me share my screen. Share screen. Okay. Let me share entire screen. And then click in there. Okay, and I'm going to put my homework up here.
All right, you in queue, sister.
All right, so I'm in queue. Okay. All right, family. So let me know I need to make this bigger for you all because it always come out a little small. Let's see. How about that? Is that any better, family?
Islam. Islam. All is well.
Islam. Family. Our assignment was use our Q tool and choose one or more lines of transliteration to bring forth your own translation of any demotic text of your choice. And number 2 was demonstrate a correspondence between your translation and similar ayahs in our Moorish Holy Quran. And after listening to the video, I hope I was on the right track. But what I did is I choose the word God. When I pull up my tool, I click the capital G, and this is what come up. God came up, and so I chose to talk about that. And when I clicked on the inner, this is the sign right here that came up for God. And corpus, this is what come up to it. This is the sign here. And God, it says mean go. But when I went to my word contents and I was scrolling through to find what I wanted to talk about, since I did pick the G and it came up God. And what stood out to me was the one that says scribe and to write. And that's, if I'm pronouncing that right, Shabbat. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But when I thought about the scribe, when it said God, and I thought about Tahuti, I say he was a god at one time. And I know he was a scribe and he wrote down things. So that's why I picked out scribe and to write. And of course, when I clicked on this, it took me to my annotations. It took me to Acropolis, hives, and as you can see, this is the sign here. And when I clicked on this particular papyrus, it pulls up my information. And the information on that particular sign, it was in the date of the writing is 531 BCE, and the place of the writing is Acropolis, hive. And also that word means, you can see here, you see the Shabbat, and it means to write. And also in the phrase, you can see it over here in this little line here, but you'll see it better when I pull it up in the papyri. So when I did that, after I did that, I clicked on the open text. And as you can see right here, family, it's highlighted in the open text right here. And my next step was to find it in the translation. And I had a hard time trying to find it because the SHA, because it was like it was hiding behind, but here it is. Hope y'all can see that. It's right in here. That little block right there was kind of blocking it. But here it is in this line, in the papyri in line 1. And to and the the translation in English of that particular papyri is talking about this is in the German, translated from the German to the English, and it says letter from X, son of Y, to Z, son of Synonymous, the calf of Amun of Ahab, give the rest of the funds you wrote about, and the funds, number 2, you paid me in full, and from the hand of Semetic, son of Esophraphus, the head of Taki, have him issue a receipt for it. Number 3, let him give you the receipt that he will issue. It has written Teos in reign year 40, month 1, correct date 13. So that's giving you the month and the date that he wrote this. He gave this out. And my next step was to you say to give my correspondence to between that transliteration and my translation of this demotic text is what I got from that, reading that story, reading that whole papyri, was what I got from that. My translation of that demotic text will be, in this day and time, get everything in writing, because documentation beats conversation. And my ayat, my correspondence between my translation, similar ayats to our chapter in the Moorish Holy Quran, I thought chapter 53, ayat 8 was in dealing with that, could, express what that papyri was talking about. It says, in dealing with men, be impartial and just, and do unto them as thou wouldest they should do unto thee. And then my next, instead of getting another alphabet, I just I stayed with the G, and the next one I chose was the GE. And when I clicked on the GE, of course, this is the sign that came up for the GE. And in the corpus, it came up. You can see it here, but it meant grain. And I said, oh, okay. And then once I clicked on that, I went to my word contents, and the word for the demonic word for grain is, I hope I'm doing this right. I'm still unfolding in how to pronounce these demonic words. Peret. I'm thinking that's Peret, and I know my instructor will help me out when I finish giving my measure. But that's the word for grain. And of course, when you clicked on that, it brought up my annotations, and this is it right here in Acropolis, Ahab. And also you can see it here. I hope you can see that, family. It's so small, but that's the way it's coming out, even in the computer. But I hope you can see it. You can see it highlighted there in that phrase there. And also, you can see, you see when I hit the, this is the, when I clicked on, this is the information. When I clicked on that papyri, this is what come up. My information on that one is the date of the writing is 644 BCE. And the place of writing, of course, is Acropolis. And as you can see down here, like I said, this is that phrase Peret, and it means grain. And in my phrase down here, you can see it highlighted. And for my, I hit the open text, and this is what came up. I had to, this is the papyri here. Here it is right here. You can see it highlighted there. And then I went to the transliteration. And as you can see, here it is right here on the end, the PR.T, which I think that means correct. I hope I'm saying it right, but I found out in a little bit. Islam. And so I did a transliteration of that papyri, but in order to get a full understanding of that particular papyri, I translated a couple of lines. You can find it in line. It was in line 5, but I did a couple of lines so I could get a full understanding of what that papyri was talking about. So the first, what it was found at in line 5, it says, children, siblings, and anyone in the world, the person who will come to you in my presence for these above shares, I will cause him to be smooth for you in relations to every document in the world, together with children and siblings up to every money, every grain, and everything in the whole world. And I had to do it in 2 parts, family, because it was so long. In the whole world. It says, all over the world who will enter your heart. In turn, these 3 parts above will be yours forever. The person who will come to you to take you to the visor and judges in the name of these above portion will not say, number 7, bring a, and this is, bring a witness scribe outside the city where the witness is. By a moon and the king, I will not say wrong, can say in relation to any of the above. I won't be able to retract a word of it. It wrote, the Father of God, E.A.R.S, number 8, son of Horus, son of Timaeus, in his own hand. And that particular papyri family, when I read over and I looked up some of the names, it's talking about having like the king and his the man was his prophet, and he has been faithful over watching everything, and it's like the king is passing on these shares and things, and it's passing on everything to him for him to basically kind of take over and run things because of the way he has shown himself faithful in the kingdom. And so it was a pretty interesting story. This papyri was, and he's telling him to make sure he take care of the children in the land. And when I did another transliteration of it, it talked about the whole kingdom when they all come together and everybody put their little parts together, and they are making sure that they're taking care of everybody in that kingdom. And it just reminded me of the chapters that we are going through now, talking about the magistrate and the servants and all of this. I got a little bit excited, so I hope I'm on the right track. But anyway, that's what that said. And then when I got ready to do my transliteration of that, the chapter, my correspondence between the translation and similar demonic texts in our Holy Quran, I felt like chapter 56, ayat 1 would go good with that. And it says, "O thou who are enamored with the beauty of truth and has fixed thy heart on the simplicity of her charm, Hold fast thy fidelity unto her, and forsake her not. The constancy of thy virtue shall crown thee with honor. And also I thought chapter 51, ayah 15 was also would go along with that, because of how the king was passing down to his prophet or his right hand man everything for him to kind of like oversee and take care of everybody. I thought that chapter 51, ayah 15 would be a correlation between that. And it reads, his people therefore look up to him as a father with reverence and love. That they consider him as a guardian of all they enjoy. And my translation of this demonic text is, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children, but the sinner's wealth is laid up for the righteous. Islam. So that's all that's what I had, family, and that's my measure. And I hope we'll see if I got it right. Islam.
Islam. And gratitude, sister, for your special portion and methodology. We give honors to you. You did a grand job, and we are looking more to go into the aspects as well as, actual doing a semi-transliteration on our own, in comparison to, but that's a good job in the methodology that you brought out what you brought, because you brought clarity. We give honors to you, Scribe, for that special measure and the methodology, which is something that we can all grow and unfold through as well. So we definitely got the clarity from what you had, and we see that you were definitely giving our people something that they can grasp, so to speak, when it comes to dealing with the text. And it's good to see that our people was dealing with their communication was pretty much concise. They was dealing with receipts and bookkeeping way back then. So this thing is getting interesting.
Islam. I can stop sharing my screen now.
Oh yeah, all is well. Islamism.
Islam. Gratitude, family.
Gratitude. Islamism. Peace and love, sister, for that drawing. All right. Next Scribe.
Islam.
Islam, grand man.
Islam. This is Dr. Bati Bey. First, I'd like to rise and give all manner of praise to Allah. Honors to our prophet. Honors to our theocratic government, our royal council, our flag, seal, emblem, our divine constitution, our swift angels, muftis, citizens alike. Honors to all the Moors that spoke before me, all the ones that will speak after. Honors to you for this class. And now I will bring forth my assignment. I was trying to get that passport done. Islam. And I will share my screen. Presentation. Share screen. Bingo.
All right, you in queue, brother.
Islam. Can you see?
Oh yeah, Islamism, brother.
Islam, man. And I didn't put the assignment, the assignment on there, what the actual assignment was. But I remember it said to go into the DBPQ or DB document and look up the text and then transliterate it and then what it said and look up a similar text out of the Moorish Holy Quran And I think I did the same thing that the guy that's Dendra and Kurt Debate did before, who went before me. And so this is one of the ones that, let me blow this up. So we can see it. It's Shabek, this is one of the Shabek Hesbet, and it translates to Eshat. German is
Okay, good brother. Look like your screen ain't turning.
It ain't turning.
At least I can't see it on this side.
Can you see
We
it?
got you in the queue, but like Morris, do you all see anything changing on our...
No, I've got a black screen.
Yeah, that's what I see, a black screen over here.
Okay.
Yeah, you may have to stop sharing and reshare it and make sure that you have selected in the tab what it is that you showing, because all we seen was this blank screen.
Okay, and I went to Windows, share entire screen. There you go. Let's do that one.
Okay, now it should share because I see the background now. Okay, there you go. We got you.
Okay. Islam. And so I was looking at Shabek in Hesabet at Abed Pert Sway, and then the German is right underneath it. I'm not going to even go there with that one, but it wrote the servants in the rain, in the year of rain. That's what that translated to. And I was thinking about one moment. I was thinking about what that could translate to out of the Moorish Holy Quran. And I couldn't recall anything out of there, even when I was searching for it. I didn't really recall anything who wrote the servants in the year of the rain. And it says in the year of the reign of it gave some other another portion of translation where it didn't necessarily reign, but it said year of government. Who wrote the servants in the year of the government? And I was thinking, going into magistrate and subject for that, because that's what magistrate and subject is, speaking and pertaining to government. But I couldn't even think of anything that would remotely translate to the servant in the year of the reign, in the year of government or whatever. So then I went into the letter A, and my better translations are going to be after this. But this is the transliteration, and it goes into the German portion, and then it translated into this right here. And it said, and the prophets and the priest who go into the sanctuary to clothe the gods, and the scribes of the book of God, and the scribes of the house of life, and the other priests whom have come from the temples of Egypt to Memphis. Now, incorporating all that and thinking how that I can all fit, there was two ways that I went into this what they were trying to convey. One took me to chapter 14, ayat 20. It says, when men are afraid of Allah and take him for a foe, they dress up other men in fancy garbs and call them priests. That's what I was thinking, that portion. And then I was kept going through thinking about a better understanding, because I don't think that it was talking about a negative. I ain't going to say a negative connotation. I don't think they're talking about men being afraid, but I don't have the full context of what this stele was coming from. And I believe this was the Sias stele. I don't know where, the other, what it said before that. This is the only portion that it gave that I could find. So I didn't get to see the whole stele and then the context that it was coming from. So then I got another one, and it says ayat 15, 22 to 23 said these forms of life were but the thought of Allah clothed in the substance of the ether planes. 23, men called these ether planes the planes of protoplast, earth, plant, and beast, of man, of angel, and of cherubim. And the reason why I brought that one in is because it was talking about clothing the gods. And when they're talking about gods, I'm thinking it's more responding to the fact that the word netter, as opposed to there being the God. They're talking about, when it says S on the end, it's referring to more gods. And we know that there's deities made flesh. So that's why I kind of took this aspect more so over the first one, over the chapter 14, ayah 20, because I think this is more pertaining to the actual them going in, and the clothing the gods in the sense, and the scribes, and that is what I got from that one. And so then I went down to I looked up look underneath the word S, or the letter S, and
Islam.
I got Islam.
Yeah, even though we said, Moorish Holy Quran as well, and we can definitely go into other aspects, but that made me think about too the everlasting gospel in our questionnaire.
Mm-hmm.
It's saving power that come from Allah through our ancient fathers by his prophet. That's what that made me think about right there. Even though I said Moorish Holy Quran as far as transliteration, that's just a thought, because it's showing there, the prophets and the priests who got into the sanctuary to clothe the gods, and the scribes of the book of God, and the scribes of the house of life, and the other priests who have come from the temples of Egypt to Memphis. So it's pretty much giving the line of all of those who was carrying the message, so to speak. So it made me think about that particular question in regards to dealing with our Quran questionnaires, basically. So,
and I was thinking, I'm glad you brought that up, because that, to me, this was almost, it's kind of almost was reaching. You know what I'm saying? When I was trying to pull a good transliteration, but in the same context, I was more so trying to match up the words with that I could come out of out of the Moorish Holy Quran with. And so, I like the going from there, what you said, more in the line, because it is giving the line, or I could have used that the line genealogy, since you said we could go from other, because it was giving the line genealogy, Abraham, Boaz, Baruch.
Yeah,
and
just context.
Yeah. Okay. Islam. And then I went to the S, which is gave this letter, and then it gave this these pictographs, and then the transliteration. Let me separate this real quick. And then this was the German. And when I went in, it says, when Erin, daughter of Ptolemy, was the priest of Arsenal, who loves her father. And I was like, this is the only thing that really popped into my head about this one. And you don't see I don't have no really ayat out of there. The only thing that popped into my head, and I didn't want to do this one because it said Ptolemy, so I knew that this was one where they started, this when the Greeks came in and started to implement their understanding of, try to take over the throne. And the only thing I could really refer to this was when John, lost his mother, and said, yours was tried and true, who loves her father. That's the only thing that I could really, incorporate from that teaching, from this right here, from this transliteration. I didn't really get anything that was, substantial off that. And so then I wanted to, my third was, I forgot, my DAB. I believe this was the B. I didn't put that one down, and I just cleared off my whole. I cleared off that whole document, the DBD thing. So, but my transliteration says "Die Frucht von den Hirtendrang in das Herz Pharaohs und des Heeres ein." It says the fear of the 13 shepherds penetrated into the hearts of the pharaohs and the army. And what I instantly, what I got out of there was chapter 40, the resurrection of Yehoshua. It says the Jewish soldiers all were sworn to faithfulness, and then the watch began. At midnight, all was well, but suddenly the tomb became a blaze of light, and down the garden a troop of white-clad soldiers marched in single file. They came up to the tomb and marched and counter-marched before the door. The Jewish soldiers were alert. They thought his friends had come to steal the body of the Nazarene. The captain of the guards cried out, "Charge!" They charged, but not a white-clad soldier fell. They did not even stop. They marched and counter-marched among the frightened men. They stood upon the Roman seal. They did not speak. They unsheathed not their swords. It was a silent brotherhood. The Jewish soldiers fled in fear. They fell upon the ground. And that's what I translated from that one. Islam. That's all I have to share.
Okay, Islam. We give honors to your correspondence, good brother. You know, and utilize these methodologies, you know, over and over. And that's what we're trying to get our people to see, is that the truth is the only thing that changes not. You know, and the more that we go through the texts and we examine them, we will be able to align our particular portion with what it is that we demonstrate. You know, so we just say gratitude to you for the work that you do. Praise be to Allah, Islamism without the schism, scribe. Peace and love. All right. Islam. Next scribe.
Islam,
Grand National Secretary of the State.
gratitude, rising, giving praises to Allah, honor to our Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, honor to our E.A.R.S class, our Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate class, to our Consul General of Texas for opening our meeting according to law, to our National Grand Secretary, South Carolina, for reading our subject chapter for the week, and to our scribes, our family online, and to our host instructor, our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shadua Menti Al Mohamed Shepsuel. It's been gratitude for the scribes that brought forth their powerful measures. I'm going to share my screen.
We got you in Q Grand National Secretary of the
Praise
State.
Allah.
Islam.
Okay. Can everybody see it?
Oh yeah, I can. We definitely got you in there. Islam.
Gratitude. All right. We had an assignment to use the DPDP tool and choose one or more lines of transliteration to bring forth your own translation of any demotic text of your choice. Demonstrate a correspondence between your translation and similar ayats in our Moorish Holy Quran. First letter I went into using the tool was the capital N. And this is what it looks like in the corpus. The word context, I selected two of these, the Hem Netcher Sim and the Sim, which means prophet of the Sim. They were dealing with the priest. Sim is actually the priest. That took me to the attestations of Patharis and Jebelin. I selected that first box. And this date of writing was 157 BCE. And if you notice, that's a copy, a snapshot of the papyri. You see it has both of these phrases, the Hem Netcher Sim and the Sim, which means prophet of the Sem priest and also Sem priest. And this is a little snapshot of the Demotic text and the German translation. So I went to open text, and the first thing at the top of the papyri, because I always like to know what I'm reading, what is this thing is supposed to be. So I highlighted, and I kind of look at to see if I can pull out any words. You see Demotic here. This is the German language. Antiquities dealing with Egypt in the museum, looking like looks like Cairo. So I pulled out this German and this German to kind of determine what the subject matter of this papyri was. And it came up with contract with the priests of Jebelin. And this next German word was contract text. So this is the actual papyri itself. And you see the highlighted letter here. And then when you go to the transliteration, which is actually the Ham-Netter Sem right here. But I also noticed similarities in Ham-Netter, and then it had the WRM. And so these were little similar phrases as well. So this is the German translation. Oh, this word was the witness signature too, as far as even more specifics in that papyri. Now, the actual translation from German to English, written by the prophet of the Memphite high priest, prophet of the Heliopolitan high priest, servant of Theogurgitus, Theophilippatorus, Ephanes, and the Theophilometoris, son of, and then it continues on with that special line. And what I did is I did pull from because this was a very, very long papyri, and I pulled from a couple of the lines or portions before it, and also the tail end, so I could kind of get a feel of what this thing was talking about. And it spoke about against them, above them, a distance writing in the reign year of 24/6 painting. And this IHY, I'm saying, okay, let me try to see what this is speaking about. That was dealing with the system player. And you notice, as opposed to I, they had an A in here, which you can use the vowels A, E, I, O, U interchangeably. Income with their Ahi income, and with everything from the field, the temple, the place, and the palace. May one give, dispose of, take her away from him. One should not make any compensation, therefore, in my name, pardon yourself, or in the name of any person in the world. I will always keep him away in the reign year, ever-living king, in order to fulfill their legal claim to Eshna-Shemneas. Her mother is Temeti, called prophet, the scribe. It goes down through another list of degrees. My heart is content with it and without any objection. I'm like, what in the world? Now, I did pull up one of these names that was in the papyri. And I'm like, Dr. Bati Bey, what in the world? Because I tried to steer away from Ptolemy anything because of the remix. But, you know, log of his all events. It's not strange, so I went with it. Like the early Ptolemaic monarchs, Ptolemy IV. So that's what it was dealing with in this one, was proclaimed to be a deity on his accession to the throne as the Theos Philippator, father-loving God. And I pulled out for myself, Sem priest, exactly what is that? And that's actually dealing with the priests that took care of the mortuary rites. So I could get a understanding, okay, we're dealing with Ptolemy ascended to the throne, and now he's calling out instructions, okay? And my translation is the written contract between the Sem priest and Ptolemy appointing himself with many titles, calling out instructions for the Kemethian priests. And where I went to in the Quran was the chapter on justice, ayah 6, corrupt not his servant to cheat or forsake him. So that was my measure for that one. I did a second one using the lowercase k.
Islam, Grand Secretary of the State.
Yes, sir.
No, Islam, gratitude for that. That's good. That's good. And I'm talking about the aspect on both, even you and Bati Bay, because this is going to show when you look at what they saying, I'm going to tell you what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
What's being demonstrated here is the Ptolemies. Indeed, we see they have come in and they're trying to basically control the narrative, right?
Yes.
And if you look at these so-called transliterations, right, we can see that they are basically them just doing their thing and then dropping a comedic term in here and there to make it seem like they're demonstrating Kemet. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
We
sir.
actually basically going into these texts, the positive side of going into these texts that have the Greek mix on them is allowing us to see what they was actually doing.
Islam.
And it ain't got nothing to do with ancient Kemet. It proves our case even more. That's what I'm seeing with this. But good job too, and I like your correspondence to the Circle 7. Goodness gracious. Oh man, it's getting real ugly up in here.
Yes, it is. Look, the next one was worse. Okay.
Yeah, and I know some of these texts too will pay more homage to the ancestors. It's based on which one you're in, though. You know what I mean? Because some of them also have to do with the influence of the priest or the scribe that was still loyal to Kemet. And some of the stuff had to do with measures, again, where you see that. When you see Ptolemy, you already know what time it is.
Man, see, I was already too deep in this thing before Ptolemy name came up. I'm like,
that's why it don't make no sense. You can literally see what they actually reaching.
Yeah.
Like you can see, like, hey, none of this got nothing to do with ancient Kemet, what y'all talking about. You're gonna try to legitimize the document by saying son of Tom, son of Ra.
And get somebody to witness it.
Yeah. Don't that remind you of something right now in this new era and time?
Yes.
When it comes to the Roman, modern day Rome.
Yeah.
Islam, they're gonna use you to legitimize it. Oh, prime example. When they do commercials, they hate rap music so much. They hate the culture so much, but they'll use it. When it comes to trying to promote what they demonstrating. So this is the Ptolemies. They was going against Kemet, suppressing the natives, and then all the while you trying to act like you down with the ancestors.
Islam.
Stop it.
Right.
Go ahead, goddess.
Yes, sir. Gratitude for that blessing. Now this one I selected the lowercase k from the DP tool. And this is what it looked like. This one right here. And looking at the, you'll see that similar sign over here in the variants. In the word context, I selected the phrase SKP, which is Shekepi, and it means to cry or complain. All right, so now that took me to the attestations of Acropolis, El Hybe, and this was the date of writing 513 BCE. Okay, this is a snapshot of the papyri, and you see it's also reiterating Sekepi, cry or complain. And on this side, you can see this highlighted, that same symbol. And I noticed here, let me blow this up a little bit. This S and then the F, you can see the sound shifting between the P and the F. I said, okay, all right. And that's the German. So I went to open text to pull up the larger portion of the papyri. Now, the name of this one was Petit's Petition. And it had the text of the draft petition. So that's the papyri I was going into. This is the symbol highlighted in yellow as far as the Demotic language is concerned. Well, what's actually on the papyri. And that SKP, Sheskepi, and you see that S and that F, okay? So this is the German aspect of that. And so I went into the Google Translate. Amasis read the papyri. He exclaimed loudly. He said to me, "At Ray, I realize that it is you who are right." Now, of course, I'm like, okay, I got to get some more, find out what exactly you're talking about, because the word exclaim loudly, they had synonymous to cry or complain. So when I went to the beginning of the papyri, and this one was very lengthy as well, so I just wanted to pull out some portions. Oh, may a moon make his days long, just like Dr. Shahi was speaking about, okay? You're in the semblance of, I'm giving honor to the creator, what have you. In the reign of King Darius, usually my earnings were given to me annually in El Hive, since the Senti made me prophet of a moon of El Hive. Then he spoke about, may your breath of life be safe by a moon who rests here. Okay. Behold, it is month 3. Peret, there is no emmer in a moon storehouse. There is no money in the temple treasury. Borrowing emmer at interest to use for the needs of the bakery is what we have to do from today onwards. The people who are violent in this city, they don't like it. I'm like, oh my goodness. And this thing continues on. Then it spoke about Amasis arrived at Heracleopolis. He said to me, finally, will you tell me how El Hive was destroyed? And so this person began speaking about the horrors of what he went through. He learned that the Senti is protecting the El Hive. Amasis said to me, you will be made to listen to me because you are not a man. He assigned 2 men to guard me, saying, let them stand in the sun until I hear all that has happened in El Hive. I suffered great agony in the sun. So we're looking at a torturous situation here. I said to him, let me bring you a piece of papyri that I may write down to you everything that has happened. So the man gave him a piece of papyrus. I wrote down everything that happened. Now he goes in the sand. If I tell you the things that happened, these priests will kill me. I'm like, what? Look, I'm really fired up now. He sealed the papyri. He let him seal me with him. So this man is sealed into some degree. He had him taken to the house where the Senti was. All right. He completed his affairs. He dismissed me. I came to El Hive. Then he goes on to say, he brought the papyri that Amasis had made me to write to the priest. They seized me, my son, and 4 brothers from me. They put us on the block.
Hold up, Grand Secretary of State. Wait a minute. Is this evidence of what we was talking about when we said that people were forced to write?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
That's what I said.
They telling you. Wait a minute.
Yes.
This is real. This upsetting, family.
Yes.
So basically, everything we seeing in this Ptolemaic intervention is proving what we've been saying, and so they basically bragging about it.
Yes.
Like whooping behind and taking names. And we ain't gonna use the yes part, but basically you ain't a man anyway. What?
Right.
Goodness gracious. If this ain't enough.
Look.
and if the so-called Greeks and Ptolemies believed in Greek God, why they over here venerating Amun Ra while whooping us?
Yes, that was the deception. Speaking with
you know what that remind me of too? The definition in the history behind. Remember I talked about the Damari and the Moorish gods, and how it says that the Romans were actually invoking the Moorish gods to conquer the Mari people.
Yes,
that's what this remind me of. Goodness gracious! Oh my God!
I know.
Actually
this
telling you what they did.
Yeah,
tell you they made some of these priests write this stuff.
Yes.
So this is basically a priest telling that somebody made them do something.
Yep.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Gracious. Go ahead.
Then he was speaking about they had him handcuffed, thrown into the place where we were. All the people who were in El Hive drank beer. Also, the guards who were placed over us drank beer. They fell asleep. One of them ran away. Guards woke up. They didn't find that person. The guards were placed above us, went away. Okay. Let me see. Is this toward the... Okay, now this is the end, because like I said, it was a lot of lines in this thing. So at the end portion, this is the last portion. He took him to the dromos of Amun. He swore before him that every person he would bring to him could get to El-Hab, and he would not do them any harm. Yeah, right. He would swear to them that no harm would be done to them. Okay. He would bind himself under oath before him. Otherwise, they would say that the chief of the Ma was looking for them in order to have something evil done to them. Chief of the Ma threw himself to the ground. He paid homage. Chief of the Ma went out to the places of the Gao of Oxychronos, the Gao of Hermopolis, and the Gao of Harday. He gathered the people from El-Hab to Harday. So, and I tell you, I didn't go through the entire thing, but that portion was enough for me. Okay. So now when I did my translation, first dealing with that first thing, that line that I translated in reference to, yeah, I see that you telling the truth. That my translation for that was realization of unfoldment. That's before I got even deeper into this thing. So I went to the Quran and I dealt with instability. Weep not, therefore, at the calamities of the human state. Rather, laugh at its folly. Went to justice. Finally, O son of society, examine thy heart. We just had this last night. Call remembrance to thy aid, and if in any of these things thou hast transgressed, make a speedy reparation to the utmost of thy power. And the last thing was insufficiency of knowledge. Evil is not requisite to man, neither can vice be necessary to be tolerated. Yet how many evils are permitted by the connivance of the laws? How many crimes committed by the decree of the council? And that's the end of my measure. Islam.
And Islamism, it don't take long to tell the truth, but Granddad Secretary said, you're going to have to give me a rundown. On exactly what these people were talking about. I mean, we heard it, but in this here, looking at the context of what you just brought forth, this is literally them. We got people basically whistleblowers. They're like, all right, since you want to tell it, we got something for you on one hand, and we finna take you off the count. You better write what I say right. I mean, what you think about this, Grand Secretary? I want to really hear your measure on this.
Because I try not to really review a lot of negative mess, because I know the spirit of the words. Okay, so the portion that I went into with the Google Translate, that was enough for me to get a picture of what in the heck they were doing to our people and how they were making them submit, and the remix, as far as the murder, the torture, etc. And yeah, it just brought me closer to the ancestors, giving honor, because had it not been for them, because everything was not remixed, and there were those that were actually holding on to these secrets, and that's spoken about in our Quran, for the appropriate time that Allah said that be released, so it just shows the line of succession, not only as far as our genealogy is concerned, but also written documentation of what occurred. And I knew in my heart, even from youth, that all of these museums, like the British Museum, German Museum, and all over the place, want to snatch the artifacts, and put it in their country and hold them up as, look what we have. But I knew that if you went into these other languages, you would find the truth, because they don't expect you to go into it. So, it just kind of reaffirmed that that thought that I had a long time ago. It's just now unfolding through this E.A.R.S class. So I'm just so humbled and grateful that we're going through this, because it gives us an even better insight and clarity as far as what happened with our people. And so how can I, with this kind of knowledge, sit and because I can recall when I first came into Moorish science, and it was through MST of A, and I used to ask, if you don't teach us these Adept lessons, all of these older Moors are going to pass away. But I did not understand fully the demonstration of reincarnation, or when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Because I thought when those that walk with the prophet pass form, then how are we going to get these lessons and these blessings? This here is the prophet working with us from the plane of soul, his mercy and compassion, unfolding these truths to us. That's how I see it, so it was very, very vibrational period. But I'm just humbled and I'm grateful. So that's what I saw with that. Gratitude.
And Islamism, gratitude, and it's good to also see Grand National Secretary of the State as well, that there were those who were actually resisting, and these are obviously some of the ones too that they were speaking of when they talk about quelling the rebellion of the native Egyptians in the Rosetta Stone. So this is actually a little earlier on, before the actual Rosetta Stone was produced, because this was from the 500 BC, right? Yeah, so this was like they had already entered in, but the Rosetta Stone hadn't even been created yet. And so the main thing is us being able to go back through this text, and we will be able to take terminology out of here that will be useful when it comes to producing our lexicon, no doubt about that, and put everything in its proper perspectives. But it's good to be able to see this view, because think of all the Egyptologists, I like to call them Egyptolamites, that are teaching, and they have no knowledge of this. This is something that we haven't heard any scholar amongst our people, get into, and it's basically being able to expose, what had went on during that time, just like we do in this era in time, and so now we have some measures to really go into and even dig deeper. And this just shows, hard work pay off. And if you seek the truth gonna manifest itself. The truth is the only thing that changes not. That's one thing that can't be denied. Our brother Marvin Edwards Bay called me and said that he had I guess his measure had fell off. So we'll let him wait for him to come in, but in the meantime, in between time, so to speak, we can also go into certain aspects of what it is that we have before us. I want to give honors to the Scribes for all it is that you brought forth and everything it is that you demonstrated, because this is the most powerful measure, Islam.
Pardon itself, National Sister Grand Sheik. When you were speaking about there were those that resisted, and all the time that's not spoken of, because when a wrath hits, that doesn't mean that every entire individual participated in not. It's
That's
just
right.
that Allah had to show, he had to show or teach a lesson to the people.
That's right.
And that was such a key point that you brought forth. Even in this demonstration, we did have those that lost their physical garb, that because they refused to submit to that oppression or domination. So that was a powerful key that you brought forth. Gratitude.
Oh yeah, gratitude. And that's why we definitely asked your measure when reading it, because I know in one aspect it's like, okay, here they go again, told me in here, and then we like, oh, now we can see what's really going on. These one were doing the same thing that the Romans always did, and it's a part of their nature. You're going to torture somebody. And I talked about that. Remember me saying that before, that I read that, some of our ancestors have been tortured and put under duress to put right certain things. And like this is like the primary source material. They're saying, yeah, this is exactly what was going on. Everybody wasn't with it. So some people were, like you said, able to be swayed. Some of them, remember, in the Rosetta Stone later on, by the time, let's say that's like 300-400 years later, after that, they basically was conditioned now to accept taxation, for some. And then the ones that were going along with it, they didn't get no taxation. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And all they had to do is create temples that venerated the gods. So the talents that they would normally use to create venerations to All-Star, Het-Ru, and so forth and so on, like we showed you in the examples where they actually chiseled out, you know, the face and left the crown, and then they later come back and remudded and put Ptolemaic phenotypes in these special monuments. You know, this was going on. You know, I mean, it's plain. Good gracious. Islam, Sister Curly.
Islam, Dr. Shahid. Yeah, and while we on that subject, waiting for brother the God man to come back, and I think it's Dr. Walter Williams, I believe. I read so many books talking about how they did our ancestors, and of course, like you say, some of our ancestors they chose death. They would not do what they tried to make them do. But some of our ancestors, I think it was in his book, where he talked about how they did our ancestors, and you know, like the goddess was reading, put them in chain, you know, just beat them up and did horrible things to them to make them say what they wanted them to say. And I think if I remember correctly, that they were saying something about because the Ptolemaic, they didn't understand. And I think that our ancestors may have put stuff in there because they didn't really understand it anyway. So they just put something in there to act like they was going along with them. And but like you say, that is a powerful message. And all of this, and even with the papyri that I had, all of them look like it's dating back, and it look like they trying to do good, but they're not, because we know when if it's dealing with during that time and dealing with them, we already know something is up with it. They're gonna try to make it look good to try to put themselves in our history. Islam.
And Islam, gratitude, sister. We give honors to you. And we got you, brother Bati Bey. You know, it made me think as you were speaking, saying that, you know, I said, okay, now this reminds me of an special drawing. The same thing that we see the Ptolemies doing here, like speaking of, you know, the priests of Amun and trying to superimpose themselves into this. It reminds me of the same way that they dealt with our brother Yehoshua and made him a Roman personage, when we know that even the scripture don't even describe him that way. Because normally they describe him as bronze and brass and so, you know, so
Right.
forth and so on, a melanated individual. So this is showing that prior to the modern day European taking the image and defacing it and putting their self there, this is what they did here.
Yes.
So they superimposed themselves, the Ptolemies. They wanted you to believe they was the new Amun. They was the new Al-Sar. They was the new Heru.
That's
you
right.
know, and their women was the new Het-Heru, or Set, you know, Sekhet. You know, this is what was being done. This is like literally, oh man, it's like they telling you in the papyri. So all the Ptolemaic papyri deals with pretty much gloating over the kill, or bolstering how they conquered, or either that or certain scribes writing about how they was mistreated. You know, so this is very valuable. Even though some people may look at it like, you know, they don't like to see, okay, well, how they did our ancestors. You know, it may stir some of our people up. But the main thing is this is a positive view if we able to see, like the Grand Secretary of the State say, you know, what we would call the divine issue. You know what I mean? So this is important. And even though we know that they are coming in here interjecting certain, that don't hurt the text at all, because the words are the words.
That's right.
You know, that make up certain things. We just seeing what they actually pretty much spun a narrative and again added themselves to the equation.
Right.
And you know, to replace, you know, what our ancestors was demonstrating. It's usurping something basically. That's what we have to have in mind. You know, so Islam, goddess. What you say, brother Bati Bay?
Islam, honest to what the goddess is speaking. The crazy thing is that when I was listening to Ashar Kwesi, he was saying that, being a griot, they were going to meet death anyway if they told the lie or if they miswrote anything in the text. So if they were going to meet death anyway, you could see why most of them or the ones that did chose death, because they was going to meet it by the people, even if some one from that knew that the griot and they knew that they were going to change the text, that they were going to meet from the original people, the original ones of Kitman, the original that was underneath the original throne. So they were going to meet either way, regardless. It's just that they probably just took it since you're here now, just to get it done and over with, And that's kind of crazy to see that, and it's kind of like, what do they call it? Scholarship taxidermy was basically what they're doing. They're taking that and putting their bones or their structure underneath the cloak of our stuff and put, mounting it on the wall, So
Islam, Dr. Shaheed.
Islamism.
I just got a call from Brother Muhammad Bey. He said that the National Grand Sheikh is trying to get in.
We don't see him in here, sister, not in the queue. You know how y'all normally pop up, I can add you. Just like if Marvin of the Bay would have come up, but he definitely got the link.
Yeah, he just called me and he said the Grand Sheikh was trying to get in. I don't know if he got the right link or something. I don't know what's going on. They just passed that on to me, and I told him I would let you know.
Yeah, most definitely. Let me call.
Yeah, because I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. It's basically he probably hit the wrong link.
Yeah, probably so.
I know it was sent to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I forwarded him your email as well, Dr. Shaheed. Yeah.
Make sure he hitting the right one, because I've done that before too. One time I hit the right and just sitting there, never could, but I had clicked the wrong thing.
What I'm gonna do right now, is let me get it up here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna send the exact link that we have right now directly to the sheet.
Right.
Copy it real quick.
Okay.
And I'm gonna send it to him apart from the email. He already got it through the email, because I got, like when I sent it out to y'all, I sent it out to him.
Okay.
But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just send this to him this way.
Right.
I'm gonna just say, here is the link sheet.
Yeah, because sometimes it can get confusing to click on the right one.
Yeah, all is well. Let me see here.
Islam.
Okay. There you go, right there. Because he still would have been able to see it too if he was looking at it on Facebook while we were doing what we were doing. That way he can give his input once we open up the floor. Okay, so I just sent that to the sheet.
Islam.
Okay, Islamism. So yeah, I think our brother Bati Bey was building on a particular measure as well. Islam, grand man, were you done?
Islam, yes, I am done with that.
Yeah, but we give honors to you too, brother, for the measure that you brought forth. I like the concept that you spoke on when you said taxidermy. That's basically what they did to the brother, the one that they had over there, the Moor, Angelo Solomon. They actually put that one up there, and they got pictures of him. Some people try to deny it, but they actually had saved the brother's body. And they say that it was burned up later, but really, there are actual images out there of his body still out there. You can see the burns on the body, so to speak, in the particular areas they had it out there where they had, They stuffed the brother and all types of stuff. His history behind this particular brother. His history has been brought out. He had the same ancestry too of the Moor Ibrahim. They all both came from what they call the Mamadi people in Africa. They was like I want to say of the Fulani. Both of them had the Fulani Wolof descent nature. So you'll hear a lot of the Moors and what they created and what they call the Moorish Rite talking about Angelo Solomon. But the main history of this particular one, they got busts that they created of the brother. And this is what they did. They did it to a lot of the slaves. They kept souvenirs and fingers. And, all you got to do is read certain books like 100 Years of Lynching. And, we already know they made wallets out of our people and everything, like the average animal, like a buck skin, it was a whole lot going on. So we see that these tactics were demonstrated in ancient time. Go ahead, Brother Body Bay.
That book, Delectable Negro. It gets to talk about that, and they still got some of that stuff floating around like it's memorabilia with the they call it the Negro skin purse.
Mm-hmm.
They got stuff, something like that still floating around, and they're I don't even know what to say. I'm just gonna leave that alone.
And so the great aspect of all of these different sources in the Demotic is giving us the opportunity, like I said, to build up the lexicon, because obviously we're dealing with words and definitions and all of that. And so we'll be able to build those things up and bring it back home from the Moorish standpoint in honors of our ancestors. And trust me, I'm actually putting things together right now. I'm on the ball over here. I got even greater methodology of putting certain things together. So the Moors, all right, if they want to still send, definitions and so forth and so on, as we add these things on, we actually dealing with the B as a section now, because we already dealt with the A section, so to speak. It's much more that we can deal with on that aspect, but we have a lot of the tools already also in here to be able to aid us in the creation of those things. Like, for example, when we go into a particular piece of information and then we open the text up, and we can actually open up, the fullness of the text and go into everything that's behind it. That in and of itself is a blessing as well. So we got so much at our disposal, so to speak, to be able to really go into the depths of this information. We have the attestations, and we can also go into the document itself. So we can't go wrong after dealing with that. Like the Chicago Dictionary, that in and of itself is a whole nother ball game just to be able to go into that particular area. So it's really what we have done. We perfected our methodology in being able to bring this on the manifest. And so we are just now at this time trying to really inform our people and teach them how to do the same thing that we have done and what it is that we are doing. That's the grand essence of the measure. And always remember too, when you go into the corpus, you can go back as far as it start back at the most ancient writing that you can find in the Demotic, and then you go through the text. This is the corpus portion. I'm gonna share the screen real quick. We went over this last week. Still waiting on our brother Marvin Edwards Bay. And peace and love. Sister Sakina Ra, want to give honors to them goddesses over there. Them sisters are doing a grand job You know, one thing about them sisters will get in there and they'll bill and they'll go fisticuffs, not in the way of harming each other, you know, and then they come right back around with the unity and the love and move on to the next. That's something that we can all learn as a people. We want to give honors to them goddesses for all it is that they have been demonstrating, you know, and what they will continue to demonstrate. And they definitely growing in their channel, and we support them, you know, because they support us, and we know that their intentions are most definitely pure. So right here, like I was showing you all, this the oldest document in the demotic that they have is right here. This is TM 46125. You know, and we know that this will take us directly into the document in and of itself. You can give a whole extensive history just by coming here. And notice the terminology they use, such as, you know, and they say this is dealing with a date of a contract, which deals with the witnesses, you know, what they have written in Missouri and Panui, it tell you that. It also goes into the province where it come from, Thebes, you know, the fourth upper Egyptian known. You know, a lot of this information is just, man, this is powerful to have at our hand. And we want to know when we see this, like, for example, it's important. Notice they're using the term language script, abnormal hieratic. But we know this is the Demotic text that's being referred to here. But this is just one of the many names that the European use, you know, that will confuse most of our people if they don't know better. You know, if you know better, you're able to do better. So notice what it says, abnormal hieratic, you know. So when you're looking at that, look at it right here. Abnormal hieratic is the name of a more cursive script developed from hieratic, you know, Afro-Asiatic Egyptian. So this is what they are calling demotic. So when you see that term abnormal hieratic, you know they're talking about demotic, and don't get it confused, you know, with actual hieratic itself. You see what I'm saying? And so that's something to be known as well. I'm gonna go back over here, just showing our audience who may be looking for the tools and how to use it. So if you look over here, you can see what they have. It says Lovery, and this is E3228, you know, Atik F Carton B. And if we click on it, this is going to take you into the actual text. And once you get in the text in this particular tool, see it shows you the date, 686 BCE. This is the oldest demotic text, you know, in this particular material. And then you can go letter by letter. You see, letter by letter, you can go phrase by phrase, word by word. You can understand not only the monoliterals, you know, but you can see the biliterals and the triliterals, and then just outright words, you know. And we already showed you to go into transliterating this stuff. All you got to do is go to Google Translate, and you can actually transliterate it that way, you know.
Pardon yourself, Dr. Shaheed.
Mm-hmm.
So that list that you had, what did you key in this DPDP tool to bring up that part?
Islam. I just hit corpus.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And when you hit it, see that corpus?
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, Islam. Yeah, that's all right. And this, you remember, and we discovered this when we were trying to find that other stuff in our last session. But look at
but see, if you blink, you can miss what you be doing.
Can,
you move like a swift angel.
Islam. Gratitude.
I saw it, but I didn't know what he would. I still didn't pick up what he hit. Gratitude for asking that question, God, because I wanted the same thing. What did he do? What did he do? I couldn't see it.
Oh yeah, Islam. Yeah, it's right up here in our top. You see what I'm highlighting it.
Yeah.
Like I said,
got
you just hit it.
Yep.
And then it opened right up.
Okay.
And so, oh yeah. And so yeah, you got all of it in chronological order, basically. If you look at the time stamps on this, and you can click into each one of these links, you can click into, let me see right here, for example, and it gives you the attestation. It tells you the year of the ring of who was ringing them. So this would also give you a background on going to research, some of these different ones that are mentioned here, like Tahaka, you know what I
Praise
mean, and
Allah.
thieves. And so just having this is a good thing to know, well, who was ringing during that time. So when we're able to bring these things forth to our people from this aspect, we can give them more clarity. They can't say, well, where this come from, because you're giving it to them in the way that you are teaching it to them. See, like 664, 332 here, we see Memphis, Saqqara, and Serapeum. And this is the first Lower Egyptian known. You can click into that demonstration, and look, it actually shows a map and shows you all of the different places. It shows you, look at that, 13,427 places that are basically being demonstrated right here. And actually, I think that's the number part itself. But the thing is that it's showing you the gnomes in Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. See this here? It's showing you where Egypt is. Any place in here where these different papyri come from, it pinpoints them. So when you click on it, look at that. It take you even deeper into it. So ain't no way in the world we can't know this. They even go to showing you, certain things that they have that were actually Greek. So, they were actually mixing in Greek names in the Demotic text. Almost like how when we demonstrate in English, and then we might use an Arabic word in the midst of the English that we write, and that's what they was doing here. They even showing you the Coptic as well, the Coptic equivalent, which we also have access to enough Coptic Egyptian text, so to speak, to where we can actually correspond them as well. So you can see the different changes in the Latin. I'm loving this here, eyes breaking it all down here. And if you really look here, let's look at this real quick. Let's look at, the Latin and compare it to the Greek. You can actually see, how certain things were kept original and certain things changed a little bit. But you can actually see this word, if you look closely in this, even though the symbols have changed. So that's interesting in and of itself. This is the Kemetic aspect. Majed, right? Majed, and they are calling it Oxyrhynchus, Oxyrhynchus, Oxyrhynchus. So we see a total different aspect here, and then we see the drawing that they given here in the Coptic. So I mean, like, you can go all over this place and really look at what's being demonstrated here. And every time you click on the link, look at that. They even got one taking you all the way down there to the exact spot. This is actually giving you the longitude and the latitude. Man, we got so much right here in front of us now. It even goes deeper into the attestations. All I can say is we got a lot of work cut out for us. So yeah, you can go into this, and everything you click on is going to take you deeper into it. And that's really based on how far you want to go. But anyway, again, these are the different places on the map. Look at all these places. I don't know, it might have been the exact number that I gave earlier looking at this here, because that's a lot of dots on there going all the way up through here. Yeah, that might be the number that we was given that was actually probably right. Because look at all of that. Goodness gracious. Wow. And so everywhere you go in here, let me get this out the way here too. So this is taking you everywhere. See the name showing up there? Hold up. You see it better up here than when you get lower. You can see the names that are being referred to up here. Different places. All of these different places. Man. That's a grand drawing in and of itself. But getting back to this area over here again, you can also, let me close that down. You can shift these particular measures as well. You just go down the list, or you can scroll up the list like you see me doing. And you see they come all the way up into the time of Ptolemy and after Ptolemy as well. You know, so they go all the way back to the top, actually. You get down here to, let me see, I was just there. Okay, yeah, so this is all in the BCE. This is the CE, the Central Era. So yeah, they come all the way up. It's a lot of papyri in here, family. That's most definitely one thing that we can see. A lot of Demotic papyri, you know. And so again, when you click on it, no matter where you go, this is what's going to sharpen us up, though. The more that we go into these texts on our own time, you know, and dig into it, and then we begin to see, for example, like this is a whole word right here. You know, once we're able to go into seeing these things and be able to identify them, you know, and this is all a part of how much we immerse ourselves in this, we're going to become even more refined in what it is that we demonstrate. You know, so this, like I said, this is a lifetime journey. This just goes to show you the infinite wisdom of our ancestors just in dealing with the language itself. You know, again, to mention, when you come down here, all you have to do is come right here. And for those who may be looking at us, if you want to see this, because all of this stuff is pretty much in the, what we call it, you know, it's in the German language. So you just take this here. If you want to see it, you ain't got to be intimidated by it. And just simply go to Google Translate. A lot of our people have no knowledge of this. And there you go. There go your translation right there. And so you can do your own studies on what's being said here. And this is a random papyri here that I just went into. Again, this is special text. This is coming from, you know, 99 to 100 CE. Central Era, right? More modern time. Confirmation of a deposit into the hands of the Sepnupus. You can see where they tried to add the name, you know, Tarsin and Nupus, you know, like Anpu off, like they put that in there. It says the elder son of the same son. Then it says Penem Premis. It says in Statotis. We can tell that these are definitely what they would like to call Greek names. It says the elder son of the same name, the son of Necthenibus. It says the tax collector. You notice all of this stuff dealing with Ptolemy and them, they taxing people. We know where Rome got it from, boy. We definitely can see that. And they got the ledger date and the year and everything. You know, year 3 of the Ring of Training. You know this ain't got nothing to do with comedic aspects of dealing with the deity, but yet they calling him the God who conquers. Conquer who? The native Egyptians, who say to Stothotis, it says the elder, the son of the same name. This stuff ain't really making, to be honest with you, it really don't make no sense when it comes to the veneration of Kemet. Let's just say we dealing with the ancestors. They have usurped the language, basically, and superimposed themselves into the history. And ain't none of this, you can even read this and tell that the complexion of this text Ain't got nothing to do with ancient Egypt. The way that they are writing it, it's all dealing with what they have brought in, and they again have taken the scribes and basically made them write what they want to write. Same thing they do with our people, using their brilliance against them. Marius, Horus, the son of Hassap, Yotes, and Onophrus, the son of the same name, Stabbit. These are different actual so-called Greek people. These ain't even Greek gods. These are Greek people. Now look at what it had. Now all of a sudden you see in here, and the rest of the colleagues and other lessons from the end of ISIS saying, what does ISIS have to do with the Ptolemies people? What does Offset have to do with that particular time? You gave us silver money. Half of them are silver money, making in turn silver money, and we have received it from your hand, that our heart is satisfied. Okay, so we see they were dealing with silver and gold then. We already know this right here. Then they give the date right here. This is actually the month and the date of the time and so forth and so on. I mean, so it's easy to go into there and see this text and see what's being said. But, we can see why these things have been left out of the conversation of Kemet, and why you haven't had people speaking on these special measures. Let's go down here and see further what's being said right here. We're going to take this portion and then go into, I see some of the same names that they already mentioned. I can look at this and tell they ain't talking about too much or nothing. Definitely see all these so-called Greek names that's dominating this particular text. And then watch this. Let's see what they're talking about again. Confirmation of the deposit into the hands of Syneptius. The elders in the same name, basically records of all this stuff, tax collector again. In the ring, man, this sound like, if I didn't know no better, looking at so much tax collector information, I think I was dealing with the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. The ring of Nerva, the god. Notice it's calling these tax collectors, basically, they are doing this under the ring of the Ptolemaic god. So these people see themselves as the gods, that had conquered the natives.
Gods of the taxes. That's
the tax gods. Oh man, these were the original scam gods, as the young generation would call them. This is terrible, and again, this is running down basically the same thing, reiterating. Only thing is, they say we have received it from your hand, and heart being content. Let's go into the next area and see what they say. Do they go and they change the narrative? Well, actually, that's all they really talking about in that particular. That's the end of that. They just want to let you know they taxing you and they the gods, and they want to make it plain. So they going to reiterate themselves. Like, did you hear the word that was coming out my deceptive mouth? So let's see what happens here when we go into this. And I'm just hitting on random paper real quick to show you how easy it is to see for yourself. People, we see a lot of words that are used in here. If we are knowledgeable, of the language somewhat, Neterneb, and we can see Niti Hetep, and Remet, a whole bunch of words. We see it all up through the text, but by the time when we get into the transliteration, these netters are becoming Ptolemies. Let's see what this one talking about, since they talking about. Okay, let me go back over here to our translating measure. Let's go into this demonstration, and we're gonna get a chance to go with a fine-tooth comb and draw through this measure right here. But this is just on the fly what we demonstrating right now. Look at this: the wording of the oath being taken by Patsios, son of Pabius. We're going to ask our audience the question that may be looking. Have you ever heard about these people referred to as the Neteru and deities in the Kemetic text, who is Artaeus? You don't know who these people is. I guarantee you this is the first time our people ever heard these names, because this is the first time I heard a lot of these names. In the Temple of Pathyrs, in the Ring of 44. So let me see something. I'm going to try something, just for good measure. I want to see what this temple is, because this can give us a grand drawing as well. We know we can go in there and get the attestation, but I want to see what this temple is. Okay, it's telling us it was dedicated to the worship of Hathor, Het Heru, in the southern quarter of the town at the top of us. So Het Heru had a lot of temples. But guess what we see right here? Now, this is interesting. How many of y'all see this right here? Pastaphoria. How many of y'all, look at this. Y'all know what this word right here means, because this is actually the Adept degrees. One of the Adept degrees, that we deal with in our 7 Adept degrees. The step Heru, as they're calling it, Pastaphoria of the Pathrite papyri, were within the temple enclosure of the wall. So let's look at the images and see if we can pull this up somewhere. Okay, we see a lot being wrote on it. Okay, so I guess this would be an area here. We'll go here first, because they actually refer to this right here in the text. See that name? Gebelin. And if we go back over here, I seen that somewhere up in here. It was in one portion of the text. There it is. That's the root of it right here. Gebin. We see the Gebin here. So let me go back over here, and we're going to look at some of these images over here, so we can see what they really got going on over here. Okay. It's an archaeological site in Egypt. Okay, here it is. See it? Egyptian Arabic, which is the dialect that we actually use to pronounce a lot of our words. Inerti, Egyptian, ancient Greek. Pathuris. Yep, this is our place right here. Was a town in Egypt and located on the Nile, 40 kilometers south, it says, by Thebes, the New Valley, and the Governorate. Modern geographic known as Naga el Gehira, Egyptian Arabic again. And then we see up here they got, of course, the little pictures they putting up here. They showing what it was called during the New Kingdom, 1550 to 1060 BC. Then they showing what it was called from 1550 to 1069 BC here again. That carried over. And then we come into the Ptolemaic dynasty, and we see what's being demonstrated here. It says Gebelin is known for its cemetery, where the archaeological findings stretching from the pre-dynastic period to the Middle Kingdom have been made. Archaeological interest in the town started in the new 18th century AD was included in Benoit de Mallet description DL Egypti, as well as official excavations, and many artifacts from the site were traded on the antiquities market and can be found in the museums of Turin, Cairo, Berlin, Lyons, and the British Museum. Pre-dynastic mummies, it's going into that history, dating from 3400 BC, the late pre-dynastic period of Egypt, and were the first complete pre-dynastic bodies to be discovered. The well-preserved bodies were excavated at the end of the 19th century by Wallace Budge, the British Museum keeper of Egyptology, from shallow sand graves near Gebelin and modern Naga el Gehira in the Egyptian desert. Pre-dynastic mummy body dated to 3400 BC, excavated from this site, has been on display in the British Museum. The Temple of Hathor, Het Heru, is going into Hyksos rulers. Now that's interesting right there, because we can see now the connection of the Hyksos being there actually prior to the coming of the Ptolemy. But we see a connection here too. Priest of Amun of Menkaure This is a later period. Finds include a brick name and likely came from the fort enclosed in the temple. So this is a brick that came from somewhere else and was added. From the Ptolemaic period came fragments of a statue of Ptolemy. And here it is again, limestone fragments of the shrine that would have held statue, but also found up. Now we're dealing with during the Ptolemy of, and that's 6 of a military camp was established at Gebelin after the Theban rebellion. Now, I want you to understand when it used the term Theban rebellion of 186 BC, this is like actually some particular time after the Rosetta Stone had been created. But the camp was destroyed by rebel forces in 880. So this was actually the native Egyptian. When they say rebellion and you hear a Ptolemaic rulership, those rebelling against the Ptolemies would be the native Egyptians. Whichever ones they may have been, you can go in there and do the research and you'll find out exactly who they are. So the camp was destroyed by rebel forces, and the site was never again inhabited on a larger scale. Several hundred Demotic and Greek papyri and ostraca pertaining to soldiers in the local temple were found at the ruins. It says, so it's given the history right here in a lot of these different texts. We need to go back and look into these texts because it tells us, and we're going to have to write a work on this, showing exactly what happened. You know, it's easy to dictate it though from the head. That's what I'm doing right now with a lot of the stuff I'm putting together, the books. It's easier to dictate it from the head like the prophet did it, you know, and then just put the collage or the pictures around it to give our audience some insight. So that's going to help us be able to bring books forth like it ain't nothing, family. Just like I'm talking right now, I can dictate to word, you know, speaking just like I'm speaking now, and then put the attestations and everything in there. So that make it easy. Well, I ain't even got to sit down and use no pen and deal with writing. It's just coming straight from the head, you know, and it brings more clarity, more organic feel. So it says, these include the archive of mercenary Horo, son of Nicotes, and Drayton and Paula. We already know that this is most definitely Ptolemaic stuff. But anytime you hear them talking about rebels, you know, yeah, this is definitely dealing with those who were seeking to regain the throne. So, you know, that's just taking one particular word out of what it is that we're looking at and what was translated here, you know, so we can actually see these places. So when we read them, it's good to come in here and look at it. And these are actual months, you know, in the calendar of that time, because there were many different calendars. Like we got our own version of the calendar. You see, like Akhet, you know, that's the month, you know, and then you have a day, and then it says by Hathor who rests here, and by every god who rests with her. As for your garments, which I have gave to your men, and which was stolen from their hand, the copper, the clothing that was paid in my hand and in the hand of a man belonging to me, I have already paid you back in full. And there's nothing I have taken from it, and there's nothing that any of my people have taken from it. In other words, what I gave you, you know, was the exact amount. It ain't no flim-flamming going on in there where I'm trying to scam, or it says not a good wind of which has reached me. It says, in some one of my people, I do not know a man in a town who is taken from it except Orseus, son of Nictor. Okay, so this is talking about somebody that might have taken a particular portion from, you know, let's say the treasury. It says also son of Nicotes and son of, and they actually run down the whole, when they speak of somebody, they run down your whole lineage pretty much. It says, to whom I assign the order for the clothes. So basically, it gave permission. I made him take an oath about it. So once you take this right here, then you had to say, almost like they deal with signature now, but they had to take an oath based upon what they took from the the treasury, so to speak, or what they took from what was being loaned. That's what I'm looking at here. I arranged for one, therefore cast a curse in front of them, and the city too. Do not know anyone, a stranger, who has taken some of it, except your men whom I gave the order. You know, I have done my utmost for you. You know, written by Pasteos at his behest. You know, so they really definitely was dead serious about, you know, you taking something from somebody. You had to take an oath instead of writing your signature. You know, this had to be done to the gods. You know, you couldn't just take some amount. You know, you had to basically pay homage to the deities as you was demonstrating whatever it was that you was taking. So yeah, this is powerful, family. You know, to be able to go into this and pull this stuff up, and like these are more resources too. If you ever wanted to go into the Demotic Dictionary of Chicago, you can go right down there in the bottom. You know, and this is a whole website for that. You can start with every alphabet. Like we dealt with the letter A. Like this is the letter A right here in Demotic. You know, you can download it. I already got it in my system and go right through here and look at all the 8-letter words. We did this a long time ago in our last Demotic session. You know, in the last cycle, so to speak, of the session. So you can go right here, family. All of the tools that you need are right here. You know, you can go down here and click on, you know, this particular Coptic dictionary. You know, you want to find something in here. I'm pretty sure you can just click on a word or just go. If you can't get it like that right there, you can, because they're actually for the dialects. So let's see right here. I mean, actually, that wouldn't be a Coptic word. Let's see. That would be a definition. Let me see if it give me anything here. Sometime they will, sometime they won't. Well, it does take you into the actual different words here. This is good. This is good. This is exactly what I was trying to get to, something like this. And this is actually giving you the actual Coptic, beloved one. Pretty sure if you click on that right there, you can see the attestation in the Lima. So, I mean, you can go in here, man. They got various different tools in here. You know, like you can go all over this thing, man, and find what it is you're looking for. Yep. So, let me go back over.
Islam. Dr. Shaheed, can you go back to that papyri that you had, and then it had the German?
Oh yeah, talking about the one I was pulling out of.
Yeah, out of that corpus, how you went in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I actually had it over here. It's still here. Let me scroll back up. Okay, here.
Yeah, go down. No, go up. Wait a minute. Let me see which way I want to go. Yeah, right there. Yeah, right above there where you got that highlighted. Bring that on down some. So that right there. That's that's our language, and that's the basically what I'm picking up is that's our language, what we say it, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is transliteration right here.
That's the transliteration.
This is the German translation.
And then
of what they're saying.
Okay, but when they translated it from that German, they changed some of the stuff what's up there, right?
Yep. I mean, into the language of what it is. It's not
right. Okay.
It ain't that it's changing. That's what's being said in the document. But German, this is just who have this particular paper.
Right.
You know, like the further back, for example, that I can go in Google Books and find certain texts, they'll actually be written in the Latin language. You see what I'm saying? They got certain texts, but if you're lucky, you can find them also in English. And this is the same thing dealing with this. Certain things, it's certain texts that have not been translated yet.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? By
Uh-huh.
English scholars. And then that's the good thing about this, because we can come over here and we got to one up.
Right.
You know, once we take that particular paper, like for example, let's go to another one. And this was dealing with the temple oath of Asclepius, what I just showed here. Here's a letter for breathing. And this is coming from Thebes in 199 CE Century Era. We can also come over here, you know, and that's the Lima database. You know, that's just a whole nother measure. I ain't really trying to go there right, because that's a whole nother can of worms, so to speak. I want to stick to where we at. That way our family can get clarity with it. You know, again, look at this. I'm glad they put this. Remember how I told y'all before?
Yeah.
Remember how I talk about this here?
Uh-huh. Pseudo. Correct.
Pseudo hieroglyphic.
Uh-huh.
This is very important right here. And I got some. I'm going to show y'all something. And boy, would I show y'all. This is actually in me compiling a particular book. Because what I'm doing now, I'm trying to get our people to see, you know, what has been done before we really put certain things out. But we're going to actually mix it in with the lexicon. I'm going to show y'all what I've been compiling in a second here. You see this here?
Uh-huh. Islam.
So when you talk about pseudo hieroglyphs, right? You know, they have certain texts that are claimed to be in the realm of what they call the glyphs of the family. But in all actuality, there's a lot of citation right here that they have up here too. You know, a lot of the stuff that they was demonstrating was pseudo hieroglyphs. I'm finna show you what I mean. Watch this. I'm gonna go into a work that I'm working on right now and show y'all exactly what I'm getting at. Because I mentioned this recently. That's actually a transcription of what I was demonstrating now. That's work I'm working on too. That's another one. I'm working on 4-5 different books more at one time. You know, this dealing with our flag right here. You know, we're gonna get into that later at another date, but let me pull it up. This is what I've been working on here. And right now I have it labeled as anaglyphs, hieroglyphs, and pseudo hieroglyphs. And I mentioned this particular work right here, and I was showing this in our last section. Our Grand Secretary of the State, you know, reached out to me on this right here. And if you notice here, it states from the excerpt, and I show the book and everything, because that's how I'm going to be citing my stuff. I'm going to be citing it by the actual text itself. A lot of this going to be classical information that a lot of our people hadn't even seen before, because they don't want to go far back to read it. So it says, it has long been my opinion that considerable light might be thrown upon the early history of mankind as contained in the 11 first chapters of Genesis by the study of hieroglyphic or picture writing. Notice it uses a letter A right here in a small area, because that actually refers to this footnote A, which I cropped out as well. It says, in all probability, this was the only mode of recording events and communicating ideas until after the separation of the descendants of Noah. And notice they use the terminology picture write, right? Now it says, in the consequent foundation of many distinct nations, each family or tribe would carry with them the picture history of mankind from the creation until the dispersion. Now, let's put this in the proper context. You see, when they use this term here in this book, picture writing, they ain't talking about it as a language per se. It's no different than having a photo album or a collage of pictures, and like the brother Mustafa Gadala said, a picture is worth 1,000 words. You know, you can look in a picture and see what's demonstrated. If they having a cookout in there, if they doing whatever they're doing in the picture, you can look at a picture in a photo album and see. So look at it in this special way. and not in the form of a language, because that's how they demonstrate what they talking about here. It says each family or tribe would carry with them the picture history of mankind. In other words, of their particular era, their family, what was going on. This is what you see on the walls of Kemet. Look at it like an ancient photo album, not as a written language. Of course, they inscribed it or impressed, because you got to remember, these pictures were not actually written like you write alphabets. These things were actually drawn, so to speak, or not even drawn, but holy impressions, sacred carvings. You see, so you can't look at that in the form that we write things today. The writing came about in the real sense when we come up with what we call, the hieratic, the demotic, just like we showed you. And that's why they call this picture writing pseudo hieroglyphs. If you think I'm playing, watch what I pull up in a second right here. I'm finna get into this. Watch this. Each family or tribe would carry with them the picture history of mankind from the creation into the dispersion, and these records will be carefully preserved by them as sacred rites. Don't mean they intended them to be a language. They will preserve pictures, it says, and were probably the origin of their mythological systems. Now notice what it says here with that A footnote. Throughout this work, the word hieroglyphic is used in this sense, and not, its more correct meaning of sacred writing. You see, so the correct meaning of hieroglyphic is sacred writing. But we know those sacred writings wasn't written again in the way we think, because those things that are on temples that they are calling pictures were carved in the temples. When you see the hawk there, or you see the beetle, or you see the winged sun disk, those things were not wrote. They were impressed or carved in there. Once you understand that, you understand the total difference between that and actually writing with a pen on ostrakhan or writing on papyri. Two different methodologies. So that right there ends the whole argument. Unless you believe that you had some Kemites that had a pen and that they carved these images, and these images, instead of being carved, was being wrote like a pen. We know better than that. So anyway, it goes on, and this is coming from the text dealing with the Hebrew characters derived from hieroglyphics. This is telling you how the Hebrews created their alphabet, from symbols. And we already seen the original pictorials, and here we have it right here. So they're showing how the Hebrews evolved there. This ain't the same thing that Champollion was dealing with, but yet these are some symbols, some of them that was taken, by the Hebrews. They actually match up with the Hebrews letters, right? This is before Champollion come on the manifest. So if they got some of the same letters in here, some of them that are the same, as, for example, Champollion say this represents the letter A, but in the Hebrew, they saying it represents the letter Ga. You see what I'm saying? So automatically,
Islam.
This way, see, this is what we finna get them. Y'all see where we going with this, right? Oh, this is gonna be terrible. This is gonna be terrible. Once we get done with this, it's gonna be good for us. Now look at this. They say this represents the letter A in Champollion alphabet, but in the Hebrew it represents Da, or Dalit. So then we see, like this one, they say in the Kemetic language represents the letter G, but here it represents Ha. You see? So we know these are two charts, so don't you never try to use this to justify what Champollion did. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not the same. And in fact, it goes so deep, brothers and sisters, that this is not even the same as another particular portion of the Hebrew alphabet. What I found is that there are two pictorial scripts that have been compared to two different expressions of the language. This dealing with what they would call the box or the Masoretic Hebrew, and the other one is actually compared to what we call Paleo Hebrew. So these symbols ain't even the same as the other Hebrew. So there are two Hebrew scripts that are based on their version of pictorials, and they are different from each other as well. Because these symbols don't exist in that other pictorial script. I'm talking about Proto-Sinaitic, Proto-Canaanite. If you compare them letter by letter, they're not the same. So this thing, the rabbit hole gets deeper.
Islam.
Goodness gracious. So if everybody done created their own demonstration, we might as well create our own demonstration and put some pictures beside it. In other words, what I'm saying, what we are seeing here, these are called, even though they are pictorials, these are called pseudo hieroglyphs, family. You think I'm playing? Watch this. Now, y'all know good and well, y'all ain't seen some of these symbols used. Even when you look at Champollion chart, y'all ain't never seen some of this stuff. Like, what in the world? Where's this stuff coming from? So everybody got their own little demonstration they done come up with. And that's what it's saying in that book, that this information is coming out of. Look at this. You know good and well you ain't never seen no crescent moon in Champollion chart. He has another thing he would say corresponds with this, but it wouldn't be the same as the symbol. Look at it. You got dancing legs. Now they look close to what they would have evolved into when it come to, you know, the comparison. They actually probably did a better job than Champollion did in some of the stuff he was doing. But it just don't mesh when you put them together. And so I'm going to show you what I had. And I dictated this straight from the head. And all I got to do is talk. And when I talk, you know, this basically, this is what comes up. So I'm putting everything together. And I'm writing the book from the head, basically. You know, I love that because that's how the prophet did. So that's the best way. And this is what I have so far. This is what I said. This is giving you a gist of where I'm going with this. In popular opinion, it has been stated that the ancient Medu and Kemet Egyptian language derived from pictorial or picture writing. This is known to the modern scholars Metu or Medu Netta. Hieroglyphs or sacred writings are holy impressions. But upon investigation, what we have found is that the ancient Medu and Kemet Egyptian language derived from another source, often overlooked as being the most ancient source, even dating back to Zero Dynasty. And this special source is none other than what has been often misinterpreted as what most Western academia and modern Egyptologists, that word don't exist, that's my word created, so, you know, they got that little line there, I got to add that to the library. You know, so it says what called a cursive script, it says which has also been misnomered with what we call Demotic or Einkoria and hieratic script. In proper context, Medu and Kemet is the true origin of the actual phonetic alphabet of ancient Kemet, Egypt. And it is from here the Medu language of Kemet, Egypt, has its birth through this ancient phonetic script. We are now here to correct the many errors that have been conveyed by many misinformed scholars of Western academia, many of those who were just following a narrative that has long become a thorn in the sides of those who aspire to really uncover the truth about the language of ancient Egypt. Although many of Western academia and their scholars, the Egyptologists, will tell you that the hieratic alphabet comes from a period, as stated earlier, of the time stamped Zero Dynasty. Some will attest the First Dynasty. Many will retract those findings by proclaiming hieratic derives from hieroglyphs. However, in this magnum opus, and that means this great work, we will also see how they seek to reconcile their misappropriation. But concerning the actual order and the true origin of the Medu and Kemet Egyptian language, this has confused many of those who are now in this present time seeking to understand the language. It has confused them greatly. As so, this work is a work that is brought forth to bring about clarity to the hearts and minds of those who truly seek to understand the Metu or the Medu language of ancient Kemet, as opposed to the modern creation of pseudo-hieroglyphs that actually have no linguistic relation to ancient Kemet, Egypt, where its native language is the subject matter to be discussed. There will be many who seek to attack this magnanimous work by labeling it misinformation or disinformation. But I would like to say to those who have that opinion that the general opinion of men will never alter the nature of the truth, and everything that is stated in this work being digested by the reader will be vetted by scholarly sources, primary sources, and other credible sources worthy of mention. So this is my preface. And I spoke this, and basically it write it out as I'm speaking it. So it says, and I will allow the reader to go about their way to do their own due diligence as to where my claims are concerned. It is not my intent to coerce. It says, and it's supposed to be or force, because I'm going through here also proofreading my stuff to it as I go into it. I say this information, it's not my intent to coerce or force this information upon the reader, but yet to open up the opportunity for intellectual prowess. It says, or as the ancient Egyptian Kemites would say, Pert im Heru, come forth by day, night and by day, to open up the way of the conscious scribe, that they may be able to see things from a broader perspective. So I asked the scribe in their journey, as they circumnavigate through this majet, this scroll, allow the light of the ancestors to pierce your soul, actions and conscious acts of thinking, reasoning, willing, understanding, and remembering the essence from which you came, as masterminds are able to trace themselves back, and thus they know, and I quote, in known circles of wisdom and elevation, an Egyptian adept master is he who inspired me in this cycle to continue the work of elevating the consciousness of fallen humanity. It is my divine intent that those who receive this work, that they will continue the work of exposing the hoax that has been long governed by greed, dishonesty, and disingenuous men who thrived only on competition for monetary value. I would like to dedicate the neighbor, well, it's supposed to be dedicate the neighbors of this work, it says, to the ancestor of Tehuti, as he was the Neteru, it says, who brought humanity the science of writing and many other sciences that we receive in this present stage of our unfoldment. It was the same scribe, it says, Tehuti, who was attributed the characteristics and attributes of divine mind, divine consciousness, and divine wisdom. It is this same sage, it says, that has been known throughout the climes and the times as being synonymous with thought and everything in creation. It says, when we are able to read the book of creation as it is relevant to thought, ideas, concepts, abstract and basic, esoteric and exoteric, metaphysical and literal, right? It says, this is the same wise one whom is also known in both your Bible and Quran as Idris, Aknuk, Hanak, and Enoch, or whom we call Hanach in the Tanakh or the Torah, and he is also known as Hermes of the Greeks. All of these nations attributing the origin of their language to this one in his many forms of coming forth by light. You know, so I also am going into the introduction into the hieratic, showing you how they came up with these different words. Y'all know how they deal with the comparisons. You can see right here they have, you know, different charts in hieratic, Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, Dynastic Kingdom of 18, 19, and 20. You know, all of these will be in the wrong order, and we're going to correct that because we actually have the true order down here that we placed here. Let me show you real quick. Basically, we showing them, you know, everything it is that they have. We got the different charts up here. We're going to go into a whole bunch of measures, you know, but we actually have so much information at our disposal, family, that ones cannot really, they can't get away from this. You know, they can't get away from this. We actually have some hard evidence that we're going to bring behind this. So it's just a drawing. I want to see if we have any questions or comments from our scribes. And pardon me, family, for a second right here. Let me go handle this in special measure. I'll be right back. Okay, they go our sheet right there as well. And I see our brother Marvin Edwards Bay is in here. So we can give Marvin Edwards Bay the drawing as well so he can come forth. And just give me 1 second, Moors. Go ahead, brother Marvin Edwards Bay. You have the flow.
Islam, can you hear me?
Islam, we
Yes, sir. I can hear you, brother.
Okay, gratitude. Gratitude. Praise and honors have been given. I'm Dr. Marvin L. Bay out of the Texas Consulate. Yeah, I'm coming in on part of the demonstration. I had problem with my internet. Yeah, it's actually going to be coming out tomorrow, being fixed. I'm on my phone, so I'm not going to be able to demonstrate anything for the homework. Plus, I was behind in that too. But I just say gratitude to our National Assistant Grand Sheet for bringing on all of this information. And I'm definitely have to go back on the playback and see the Grand National Secretary of the State demonstration. I mean, and all the Moors brought on some powerful demonstrations, you know what I mean, and adding to this knowledge base, you know what I mean, because we are building here, you know, we're embarking on a whole new, I wouldn't say adventure, but just a whole new revelation of what has taken place and how we're bringing it back to the forefront, you know what I mean, and showing the world who we are. And I'm just so grateful for being a part of this process. I mean, it's powerful. And so I'll pass it on to the next more. Gratitude for allowing me to speak. Islam and peace.
Yes, sir. Islam and peace. Did you have homework or your assignment, grand man, as well, or you wasn't able to get it? It's all right if you wasn't. All is well.
Yeah. I'm out to bring that on the manifest at another time.
Okay, gratitude. I just want to make sure, you know,
Gratitude.
gratitude, Islamism. Well, all right. The floor is open for our scribes. You know, as you can see, I'm working on some drawings right now in relation to dealing with these measures. Like I said, it's gonna be a grand measure because I'm gonna really be able to really bring these measures to the manifest very rapid because like I said, I can dictate it from the head and you know, like put it in there, explain my points, and then add the sources to it. That's all I have to do to put this together. And like I say, I think it's more organic that way as well, you know, than sitting here and just thinking. Sometimes we can overthink things than rather just expressing it as it is. Islam, scribes, anything you would like to say about what we presented early?
Islam, all I gotta say, this is Dr. Bati Bey. All I gotta say is that it's a grand demonstration, and especially like you know how the Moors, you know, their interpretation, how they got, you know, their what do they call it, their scholarship when it came down to the bringing forth their, you know, the transliteration and of the Greeks, and it's starting to see that, you know, I mean the Germans, they're feeding off what the Greeks were saying, kind of in promotion, because you know, our subjugation wasn't just, you know, our oppression wasn't just from one body of people; it came from all over, you know. So God leave us a come peace.
Islam. And I would just like to add too. I'm glad, Dr. Shahid, you did what you did in showing us how to go in that corpus and click on all of that. That was very powerful for me. And what when I was listening at all of our presentations, what I come to realize is that I think I had the wrong impression in my mind about what was being said when you translate the German to the English. And I think in my mind, I was thinking about it wrong. But when you, Dr. Shahi, when you went back through that corpus thing and you showed us how to go through all of that, and you showed us the Kemetic writing, and then you showed us what the German translation was, I realized that they with the Ptolemy, the Europeans, they was using those names with our ancestors. Like mine was saying, talking about a moon and that type of thing. Well, they trying to put themselves in our history, and as if they was writing it and they had some kind of connection to a moon, and they saying Horus and all of that. It's like I got a clear understanding of my presentation, what I gave, because it looked like they was helping helping the people, but in actuality, when I read that whole paper, when I did my presentation, they was talking about giving so many children a certain amount of help, like 5 once a year. And I'm like, but I see it now. I got a clear understanding, Dr. Shahi, when you went over all that. My mindset, in other words, my mindset has changed about what I said, because I was taking it as something good, but it really wasn't anything good. That's them trying to put themselves in our history, and as if they was way back during that time. And I got kind of confused too, dealing with that BC and then the BCE. And I think that's why my mind was I was a little bit confused in my thinking. But I am so honored to be a part of this class, and I'm learning, y'all. And this has been such a powerful class for me. Gratitude for letting me share. Peace and love.
Islam, you still there, Sister Curtis Bay?
Islam, I was finished.
Okay, yeah, because I got kicked off for a second there. And,
yeah, I saw that.
Gratitude, all is well.
Islam
For that measure, though. Well, all right.
Islam.
Yeah, they were superimposing. They said, "Go ahead, Grand Secretary of the State."
Pardon itself. Yeah, I had a couple calls at headquarters, but I just wanted to give all praises to Allah and honor to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, honor to this class, to Act 1, to you, Dr. Shaheed, all the measures brought forth. What you brought forth in reference to just that whole list, going all the way back, so that, and you can't get no better source materials than the actual papyri itself. So that, it was just another door being open, and the various projects that you say you were working on, that's such a grand blessing and a much needed light, even more clarity to be brought forth, just like our prophet said, there's much more wisdom to be learned amongst the Moors. So again, I'm grateful to be in this class and constantly unfolding. And just gratitude for the patience that you have as instructor, to be able to guide, and the blessing of Allah and the Prophet shining forth. So I'm very grateful to our family online as well. So this is indeed a grand path that we're on, and rightfully so. So gratitude more for all the work that you do for our scribes and our family online. Gratitude, peace and love.
Islamism, gratitude, and most definitely peace and love, Moorish kin, for all it is that you do. You know, when it come down to dealing with what it is that we have begin to embark upon when it come to uplifting our people and giving them some insight. Because if we don't do it, Moorish kin, ain't nobody else gonna do this. You know, ain't nobody else gonna do this grand work that we doing, because uh, there are not many who have studied in this special area, and that's why most have a conflict of interest, so to speak, when it come down to dealing with this information. That's why many are falling by climbing, so to speak, when it come to dealing with this information as well. It is all based upon the reality that most of our people have just been willing to accept what somebody else gave to them without doing a further research. And all of these things, just going into the language and learning the language, we are exposing, you know, what's really going on. You know, it's just a powerful measure to be able to expose these things and show our people exactly where it is that we have to get to work. You know, when it comes to uplifting fallen humanity, when it comes to being able to teach our people um, and continue to guide them in the right direction. There's a lot to be said, you know, and a lot to be demonstrated when it comes to studying. If we do not teach these lessons, family, our people ain't gonna get it. I'm telling you, they're gonna continue to be fleeced. They're gonna continue to be misled. They're gonna continue to be taken advantage of, and this will most definitely be the aspect of our downfall as a people if we continue to allow this to go on. Especially now, man, with AI, they can come up with any type of thing, you know, and act like they creating something or doing something. And I mean, what the people gonna do? You know, what is it that you can do if you don't have knowledge of the fact that you are being attacked intellectually? You see what I'm saying? Most of our people don't even know that they being attacked intellectually. They think that it's a game. And so these are a part of the reasons, again, why our people can be run amok, led astray, taken advantage of, and just believe in any and everything that somebody tell them without investigation. You know, so we definitely got to get on a level where we start doing our own due diligence and stop relying on Rome, so to speak, to give us our marching orders. You know, once we able to get into that mindset to where we can demonstrate from our own direction and don't feel like we have to answer to Rome for what it is that they demonstrate, we're going to be all right. We're going
Is
to be all right.
is
Islam, Sister Curtis Bay.
Islam, Dr. Shahid, and I'd like to add too, what really helped me when you was talking about the differentiating between the pictures, the pictorials on the wall versus the alphabet. How you say look at it as a photo album, and like you were saying, if we had pictures, I was thinking about if you fast forward up, to 1,000 years ahead, and you saw a picture of me and my family. We got a grill and everything. We cooking out. Well, that's not an alphabet, but that's showing you kind of what we were doing. That demonstration when you say that, when you say look at it as to help you to understand that those are not alphabets, those are pictures telling a story. Look at it as a photo album. That was very powerful for me, and I hope it helped our Moorish kin. I know it did. I know it helped our Moorish kin who are out there listening to better understand what we are talking about. Islam. I just wanted to add that little bit. Peace and love.
Oh yeah, most definitely. It definitely don't get no plainer, than that. And that's how we definitely trying to make it as plain as possible. When it come to our family, so like you said, they can get it from that aspect, and once they're able to look at it from that standpoint, uh, ones can't be misled, they can't be misguided. But if they are still thinking of it the way that Rome has told them, it's going to always be some conflict of interest, so to speak, in that mindset of thinking that everything Rome says right, and everything that Rome say goes, and it's going to always lead our people down a dead end path, so to speak. So we have some very powerful information to continue bringing to our family. Dealing with this same information, and I tell you like this right here, it's gonna be a grand drawing when it's said and done. By the time we get done with this special measure and it's said and done, our people gonna have clarity, and they're gonna have the tools that they need. They're gonna have the sources that they need as well to really give our family some divine insight when it comes to dealing with the language. Like I said, we will not continue to allow ourselves to be misled and taken advantage of, at the expense of somebody else, that's basically trying to keep us from knowing us. 'Cause that's the main draw. I ain't gonna let nobody keep me from knowing me. And I know our Moorish kin ain't gonna let nobody keep them from knowing them as well. And as long as we come forth with this same mindset, man, it ain't nothing that nobody gonna be able to do to stop us from what it is that we demonstrate. Unless again, we believe that their power extends beyond that of the great God. We believe that they are the ones who speak this history, and we ain't supposed to be speaking it. If we thinking like that, yeah, we're gonna have some real problems. And our people gonna have some problem too, because they can't get nowhere with that type of leadership. That's why Prophet Noble Drew Ali told him we constantly stress this. He said when we get the pen in our hand, he told us what to do. So that's the key. It's like the chairman said all the time, you hear me quoting, what we gonna do? We gonna shoot it or we gonna dribble it. That's one or the other. So yeah, this is a powerful measure. I just want to say to the scribes, keep up, with the good works and everything it is you're doing. And most definitely, we ain't going to allow anyone, to mislead our people, misguide our people, or take them into an area where they will be taken advantage of. That just ain't going to happen. We ain't playing it. We ain't going for it. And everybody else that like that, well, that's what they like. But we ain't ones that just here to go along and get along, just for the sake of doing that. Our key is to get to the bottom of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And this is what's gonna free our consciousness, so to speak. So I want to say gratitude again to the scribes. Gratitude to you for everything it is that you have done, everything it is that you will do, everything it is you're getting to. And just say, keep that scimitar consciousness out. Uplift fallen humanity. So, that being said, we can now go to our family in closing and hear from our officials, and we'll take this demonstration to the highest vibration till we get on up there in Sunday school again. From the guys, from whence the guides and the guiders of the nation arrive in the ride. So at this time, we're going to call back to the floor our Grand National Secretary of the State, Sister Shepsut Rakat Ma'at and Putu to come and Bay, and Islamism. On up the ladder we go. Islam, you there, goddess and queen?
Close as a thought. Gratitude.
Gratitude.
Having already risen and given praise and honor where due, this has just been a grand class as always. Much gratitude to our family online and our scribes. To you, Dr. Shaheed, to Act One, our Moorish government. And, I just look forward to even more research, study, and putting it out there to our people, and, we speaking about showing our people how to fish per se, as opposed to giving them a fish. That way, everybody is responsible for these lessons and blessings. But, this is just such a grand measure, giving honor to our ancestors and forefathers for all that they have done, and, we just see the genealogy on so many different scientific levels, and it's a grand blessing. I just look forward to the next assignment and adventure. Praise the Lord. Peace and love. Gratitude for all you do, more.
Peace and love and gratitude to you as well, Grand Secretary of the State. Islam is our Grand National Chairman, Dr. Akin Acton Pert M. Heru, to come and Bay on the manifest. Islam. Islam, Grand Man, Scribe.
Islam, well, let me rally praise to Allah and the Prophet Noble Ali. Still much honor to Noble Ali for bringing us everything it takes to save a nation. And more, we want to send this a mighty powerful journey. And thank you for so much courage and for all those that participate in us getting this few inches in this mile. Thank you. Appreciate you. Love you.
In Islamism, we give honors to you, Chairman, for the paradigm shift in the milestone in the journey of the race, the exhuming of a nation, Islam. Well, all right. But we know our national grand sheep, Dr. Serapis Amin Rael, is also on the manifest. So let us call forth our national grand sheep. Islam, you there, sheep?
Close as a thought.
Uh-oh. There you go. That's similar.
I'm telling you, how did the chairman say it? Got me all trumped up. This is a very, very powerful class. But let me first of all give a lot of praise, highest honors to the Prophet, Mr. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, with the efforts of his brothers. Pray that we will all contain the freedom that Allah is granting to us, moving all of the timber out of the way so that we can demonstrate the way we're supposed to demonstrate as a people. I'm always ecstatic when I hear this class, and I'm somewhat neglectful when I'm not here to open it up or to bring forth that shining emerald of gold, what we call the treasure, out from our brothers and sisters that's on this conference call in light fashion. We shall approve or improve on our standing of that, because we know it takes a family to raise a nation, and it's not right that one should do it on his own or her own or their own, but everyone should take a participating part in that. So I'm the first one to recognize that indictment, and we will do better now that we understand these tools that we've been blessed to accumulate. We pray that we could go into our lessons and open up these doors without the aid and assistance of my brothers and sisters. and their efforts to get us on time with our programs is definitely looked at with being humble, and ask ones to always continue to give my sister Grand Chief all the assistance that he needs when bringing out this program, and give him the wisdom that he breathes to set forth this program or programs to the masses of people, because it's going to be a whole lot more that'll be here in a few minutes. It's going to take just a few minutes, and they're going to come from everywhere seeking whom they may understand and grab a hold of that one. And so this is why we got to be that beacon light uh, shining from the hilltop, if you will, or the mountains. Give high honors to all of our brothers and sisters who are in this year's class, and to ask ones to stay ready and demonstrate that love divine all the time. It's love.
And Islam to you as well, Sheikh, once again, for everything it is that you do and everything you have done and will continue to do, along the way. Praise be to Allah, Islamism without the schism, grand man. All right. All right. Well, at this time, let us call forth our scribes. Are you there, scribes?
Islam. And Dr. Bati Bay, Iowa Territory. And just got to give, gratitude for, the lessons and keeping, saying even it's crazy how, even this study goes everywhere else. It's not just here on this call, because it goes in every aspect of your life. Even when, you go to work and you're doing your you trying to, you building, I'm doing whatever structure I'm doing. It's trying to get to the being more efficient at my job, how to do it, and taking on the weight of applying it, doing it myself. You know what I'm saying? Because you could work for somebody forever, but if you know what I'm saying, it's just in that aspect of taking the initiative and having these initiatives. Even when you give us assignments, those assignments, all this stuff is really creating a discipline. And then that discipline transfers to every other aspect of your life. You know what I'm saying? Because you can either choose to do it or you choose not to do it, or, you know what I'm saying, what have you. But I know that when I'm looking at every other thing, and how it pushes me to realize that the powers that be don't really know what they're doing. They don't. When we're looking at how the trust that we put into the school system and that form of education, and you see that they don't really know what they're doing, and we're discovering all these discrepancies it's like, man, what else is there? So that means even with the job I got, doing concrete, there's things that, I see is wrong, but you were trained to do a certain form of fashion, and it doesn't necessarily make sense. So then you gotta be able to adjust and still, get the job done. You gotta be able to adapt, improvise, and conquer. And that's what that's what we're learning, even in the moments of when we're seeing like the Ptolemaic version, we can instantly pinpoint that this is not right. So we have to go back and do even more investigation, which is just, like I said, it just filters in every part of life, even in relationships all the way around the globe with this. So that's why I enjoy the discipline that I get from this, saying just the assignments alone, You know what I'm saying? And even the research of the other Moorish kin. With that, leaves us come in peace.
And Islam and peace to you as well, brother. Grand Droid. Gratitude. All right.
Islam.
Islam, Sister Curtis Bay.
Islam. Honors has already been given, and I didn't say pretty much all I wanted to say, but I would just like to add in closing, I don't have enough tongues to praise the great God Allah that He allowed me to be a part of this. What we are doing right here, to be born and to be able to find my way to where we are now. Even on my journey here to our Moorish American government, when I was in the conscious movement, I heard about how the Europeans tried to put themselves into our story, and I heard how when we get on top, we should write our story. But now that I'm here in this class, being a part of this, to do all the research, I mean, man, all the research that we have done to read papyries and pulling them up and going into them, and even with the translation and translating German to the English, and as I do that, I'm picking up little words in German, in English, so kind of learning a little bit of German on the way too. It's just so powerful, and like I say, I can't give the great God Allah praises enough, and I give honors to my holy prophet for allowing me and just letting all this information come and helping me to comprehend it. It's an honor to be a part of this class, and gratitude, Dr. Shahi, for all that you do. Keep doing what you're doing, and I know, like the Grand Sheik say, this is gonna be big, and I'm just honored to be a part of this grand movement, Islam.
And in Islam, Goddess, for that is special droid, and we say praise to the great God Allah for that love thought and all that you brought. And yeah, we definitely in it together. We gonna make it better. Teamwork make that dream work. All right. Islam, Brother Marvin Edwards Bay. Okay, I think
Islam.
Okay, there
Can you
go.
hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you now. Islam.
Yeah, working on his phone is a little challenging, not being so used to it. But gratitude, yeah. So this is Dr. Marvin Evans Bay out of the Texas consulate. Praise and honor have been given, but reiterating, praise Allah, all praise to the great God Allah, and the highest honors to His prophet, and high honors to our Moorish American government, who make us, strive to be better. You know what I mean? And this class, this class itself really opens one's eyes to the fact that, we are unfolding. You know what I mean? We are spearheading. You know what I mean? All of this, unraveling of what has taken place. You know what I mean? And it's just such an honor to witness this at first hand. So like on the ground floor, you might say, because we know there's so much more that to be revealed. And I'm just grateful and gratitude, God, man, for all you do. We love you. And we love all the Moors. Gratitude. Islam and peace.
And gratitude and Islam and peace. That being said, want to give honors to the scribes and everything it is that we had to bring to the manifest. And the best is yet to come. And so that being said, family, We're going to take this demonstration on to the next degree of unfoldment. All right, sister. Let's unfold. Sister Curtis, baby.
Islam, Islam, Islam. January 15, 1929, a warning from the Prophet to be read at every meeting. I hereby inform all citizens that they must end all radical agitated speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any citizen or group of citizens who hold malicious feelings toward the government or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Jew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the government is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the government. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. By the prophet Noble Jew Ali. A holy covenant of the Asiatic nations. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother have given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Islam, Islam, Islam. This meeting is officially adjourned according to Act 2, Love, Truth, Peace, Freedom, and Justice. Go in peace, Moors. Islam.
Great class, Moors. Gratitude.
Great class. Islam. Grand class, family.
Islam, great class. Islam, love you.
Love you, family.
Love y'all too. Great class.
See you in Sunday school.
Islam, see you Sunday.
Grand class, grand class.
Peace and love.
Love you, Morris.
Love y'all.
Love
All
you,
right
Moors.
now, scribes, Islamism, peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
See y'all in Sunday school.
Islam.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, family. Want to give honors to all of you and say gratitude, peace, and love. We love you. Everybody tuning in. We got some grand measures to bring on the manifest. Peace and love, Sister Sakina, Brother Yakub, Gamma Bay, Butt Naked Truth, Noble Brian. Gratitude for your presence and your essence. Peace.